We've gone through a lot, sadly, in 2020. One thing has remained the same: the sheer, utter incompetence, the cowardice of liberal politicians that run all these big states. They've been running them for decades, American cities, all across this great country. It is now more obvious than ever how bad they are. Now, we've had to face this year the worst global pandemic in 100 years. Donald Trump, he's, well, signing 10 days after the first known case of coronavirus, a travel ban and a quarantine, which we haven't had in 50 years. But the harsh realities now of this country's economy being shut down, we've been feeling it. We had great news, a week Friday ago, when, in fact, not only were they off by about 11 million in terms of jobs that they thought would be lost when we had 2.5 million. State governors, they provided zero solutions during this pandemic. They were totally unprepared, totally incompetent, and they turned to President Trump to save them, the guy that they hate. But he couldn't save even the most vulnerable in our society, the elderly, those with underlying condition, from the idiocy of actually sending COVID-19 positive patients into nursing homes. New York did it. New Jersey did it. Pennsylvania governors, they all did it, all these governors. They ordered these long-term care facilities, nursing homes, to take in COVID-19 patients. Tens of thousands of American lives could have been saved. And by the way, to add insult to injury here, they had all the hospital bills available for them, built by the president, manned by the president, converted to COVID-19 capability and changing the ventilators by the president. All the ventilators, all the ventilation systems, all changed. All the PPE, all given to them by Donald Trump. Then on May 25th, we watched in horror. What was it? 7 minutes, 55 seconds, and it went on longer. The video that shocked the conscience and soul of this great country. It shook this country rightly to its core. We witnessed many peaceful protests across the country in response to George Floyd's death. But we also experienced deadly riots in America's major cities because, once again, city and state governments, almost all of them, not all, but most, totally unprepared and totally incompetent yet again. We see looting, we see arson, we see violence, we see death, we see destruction, we see lawlessness and anarchy. Innocent people, over 20 have died, businesses destroyed. We watch police precincts burned to the ground. And these Democratic mayors and governors, they have done nothing to stop this. In fact, many Democrats actually are supporting the anarchy. Oh, and it gets probably as bad as it can get. Listen to what this congressional candidate, this genius, had to say. Take a look.
A week ago, they had snipers on the roof. What the hell you got snipers on the roof for in a peaceful march? Even if people loot, so what? Burn it to the ground, if that's what it's going to take to fix our nation. I know people want me to say that, but I'm just saying.
These politicians have run their states and their own cities into the ground. Even before the riots, violent crime in almost every major city was on the rise. Their educational systems have been failing for decades. They never do a thing to fix it. And now, by the way, and their taxes are higher than ever. And you see a mass exodus out of almost all these cities. And once again, a big liberal city has completely now lost control of what is a critical situation. If you think watching, well, police precincts burn, look what's going on in Seattle. It is so bad, a bizarre group of these loosely affiliated anarchists and other losers have literally now taken over 6 city blocks in one of Seattle's most prominent neighborhoods. Dozens of homes now under siege without any police protection. A police precinct is now under anarchist control. Governor Inslee, what are you doing? Nothing up to this point. And by the way, the president has been begging all of these big cities, I will send in help, but you have to ask for it. They steadfastly refuse to do what is right, protect their citizens, protect property, protect the innocent. In fact, one of the first things these far-left radicals actually did, shockingly, they actually built a border wall. Wow, I guess walls work. Is that what the message is here? Armed vigilantes are now setting up checkpoints into and out of the so-called autonomous zone. Buildings inside the zone are getting vandalized. Business owners, there are reports that they're being extorted. Fights are breaking out. People are being assaulted. And an entire police precinct totally abandoned and taken over by the anarchists. 6 blocks of pure anarchy inside the great United States of America. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I ever imagined we'd be seeing all of this in this great country of ours. I didn't think I'd see if it was happening. They didn't do anything to protect innocent people either. ABC News is calling this living nightmare, well, get this, a festive zone. That's right. According to ABC, quote, police in Seattle have largely withdrawn from a neighborhood where protesters have created a festival-like scene that has President Donald Trump fuming. Now, the real problem for anyone with eyes to see and a functioning brain is that Seattle's Democratic mayor, Washington's Democratic governor, they're doing nothing to protect their people and restore order, protecting life, protecting property. The citizens of Seattle now are literally in danger, and we're watching it in real time. And these Democratic so-called leaders, they're doing nothing to protect the citizens of their state, their city, looking the other way as a group of idiot anarchists destroy their own city. Now, just listen, for example, to Seattle's assistant police chief. This kind of shocked me from earlier today. Take a listen.
To be clear, we did not pull the police officer out of the area. We are still responding to 911 calls. We are still responding to life safety emergencies. What we did was board up the windows of the building in an attempt to secure it from any incendiary devices being thrown through the window or from anyone making injury and setting a fire.
Now, today, the president responded to the chaos in Seattle during an interview with our very own Harris Faulkner. Let's hear what he has to say.
If there were more toughness, you wouldn't have the kind of devastation that you had in Minneapolis and in Seattle. I mean, let's see what's going on in Seattle. I will tell you, if they don't straighten that situation out, we're going to straighten it out.
Now, the president's right. Now the protesters in the autonomous zone are holding the 6 city blocks hostage unless a list of demands are now met, including things like free college tuition and rent control.